What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. Today I'm going to show you how you can start building your upper chest, especially if maybe a shoulder injury has more of the traditional chest training options pulled out of your arsenal. And even if you're not dealing with a shoulder injury, like let's say a torn labrum or a torn rotator cuff or impingement, something like that, but still are just looking to add a new exercise to your chest training arsenal to get a bigger upper chest, this one is going to fit both bills. And of course, we're going to start with the anatomy, right? The science behind the strength, because the muscle marker doesn't lie. You see, if we start and we look here, we will understand that the exercise that we can get to allow us to train around our injuries and still hit our upper chest is going to steal from the function of a neighboring muscle. And if we look at the chest, the upper chest here, you can see that it pretty clearly sits right like this. This is the upper chest, the clavicular portion, which attaches to the clavicle or your collarbone, and it comes right down here and it heads towards your upper arm into the biciptal groove up on the humerus. Now, the front delt, which is right next door, you can see in here, it also attaches to the outside of the collarbone, a little bit further away. It comes down and around inside here and attaches also to the deltoid tuberosity, but on the same bone. So what does that mean? It's a couple inches apart here, a couple inches apart here. It means that they share a lot of the same functions, and if we understand that, we can actually steal from the function of the front delt to train the upper chest in a safer way, because the more traditional options, like let's say an incline bench press, presents a problem for somebody if they have an injured shoulder because of the elevation component. When we add elevation to an exercise, like a press, an overhead press, an incline press, those that deal with shoulder problems get a lot of pain because you're closing down the space inside that joint. So if you had that torn rotator cuff, or if you have impingement, you're going to feel that, or just a tendonitis in there, you're going to feel that when you get that arm elevated above shoulder height. So that's a problem. FLYS, I said it. You guys know how I feel about FLYS. I did a version of a fly that I actually do like. It's over here. It's the floor fly, and why I like that versus the unsupported fly. But besides all that, the fly itself, if you're dealing with a shoulder problem, you're going to make it worse because you're actually leaving the anterior shoulder capsule much more vulnerable because of the movement itself. As the arm goes back behind your body here, you're allowing the anterior shoulder capsule to get stressed as the head of the humerus moves forward. It's not going to feel comfortable. So two of the more classic exercises really won't work, and maybe you'll kind of abandon your chest workout altogether, but you don't have to. Because if you look here, again, at that neighboring muscle and the function, you can actually come up with a good exercise. So we know that the front delt was responsible for a front dumbbell raise. And you can see, I always like to say, follow the fibers. The fibers for the front delt run down in this direction here, so that means that from here to here, if we move our arm in that same direction, the front delt is getting a lot of the work. Okay, great. What can we do to get this to do more of the work? Well, all we have to do is get the arm to move more at this angle. And you can see that we can do that very easily by just stepping out a little bit here so you can see, and we're going to drive the arm from a little bit away up and across the body that way. Here and across. Here and across. Again, are we getting some front delt? Of course we are, but that's okay. They prefer to work together. That's why our bodies set up the anatomy in such a way that they're actually pretty damn close together, and they kind of originate and attach in a lot of very close proximity to each other. So we can do this, but by shifting the angle, we're making the line of pull more favorable here for the upper chest, so we can come across like this. Okay, now why is this even a great option? Because we've addressed the two biggest issues with being unable to perform those other exercises. The first is we're not getting elevation above the shoulder. It starts and it ends here with the arm at or below shoulder height. So we don't get that elevation. And secondly, we don't get any of that vulnerability of the anterior capsule because our arm isn't coming out, rotating out this way or even away from our body here. And certainly it's not unsupported. So we can take that dumbbell, move it up and across our body this way, and you can see that we allow ourselves to really target this upper chest area with one much safer move. So guys, we put the science behind the strength here for a reason. We break out the muscle markers for a reason, to allow you guys to see what it is that we're talking about so you can understand it and apply it to your own training. When you have a better understanding of how things work, it makes you much more empowered to attack your training in a smart way and get so much more out of it. And that's what the whole purpose of ATHLEAN-X is about. If you're looking for a program that puts the science back in strength, head to ATHLEAN-X.com right now and get our ATHLEAN-X training program. In the meantime, if you found this video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below. We'll be back here again in just a few days. See ya.